Hello everybody, Demon Red Mist here, and I've just fucking dropped something. Right, I'm not going to be on for too long because I'm going to be watching the Formula 1 FP2 practice session in about an hour. So I'm going to be on for about an hour. So I'm not going to be on for long, I'm going to be on for an hour. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and take a look at Bathurst, which is the next DGT League track. So I'm just going to go and do a few laps around there, get my eye in, ready for doing a short guide on it. Normally I like to make sure I've done a few laps of practice and I've learned anything I need to learn before I actually make a start on doing the guides. But I mean, to be fair, I mean Bathurst, what car did we last use around here? I can't remember if we used the Red Bull Juniors. I don't think we did. I know we used the Toyota SFRs, but basically the process is pretty much the same. By the way, I'm not going to be taking that Lambo. I might in a bit, but for the moment I'm not. But yeah, so the guide that I did for the Toyota SFR around here is not that much different, or shouldn't be. But we'll find out anyway. It's an odd track this as well, because it always tends to, it looks a very different colour to everywhere else. Okay, you're going to have to be careful on the brakes into that corner. Also, this is a track that I love this place. When you get a nice rhythm over the mountain. Oh, let's find where the braking point is. Okay, 150 was fine. Okay, 75, not fine. Well, if that's not fine at 75, neither will this be, so... Okay, braking at 100, have to brake too hard. Okay, yeah. That corner is going to need a little bit of working out, which is going to be the best way to slow down. Okay, that's not flat out. as messy. But this is meant to be messy so that I can find out what works and what doesn't. So I've got, I mean, I'd be pretty confident at taking just about any car onto this track and having an idea of what I need to do. But when it comes down to actually, right, what I'm going to race and give people advice on, I try and look for a couple of different things. One is, what's the way of making it around the corner every single time? And then it's a case of where are the margins within that, but sometimes you have to work out what doesn't work to find out what does. So for that uphill sort of left-hander, the tight one, I'm thinking I'm just going to have to lift off and brake a hell of a lot sooner before the kink. That's better. Things I'm carrying even more speed now. Much more controlled. Lost a little bit of paintwork there. Right, I'm going to brake at about 175 here. See if I can actually go through the corners quicker. Might be able to. Yeah, can't take that flat out. Can't take that flat out either. Interestingly though, on this occasion, I was lifting off around those corners rather than before. Definitely slower. Interesting, braked at 150. It's more than doable, but I did feel like I couldn't get on the power as quickly. Interesting. I was able to brake after the kink that time, but it's right on edge. It may have overheated the tyres a bit as well. Giving the tyres a bit of punishment there. You know, lost 1.7 seconds up there. Ooh, a bit out of shape. Do a couple of laps of being off the racing line. I'd always recommend that people do this as well, by the way. It's just it's so useful to know exactly what you need to do to get around a corner if you're not on the racing line. Yeah, you don't really want to be up the inside there. Or here, really. Because if you're side by side there, you're sticking them in the wall, probably. I mean, I would highly recommend this is not a side by side area of the track. It's not easy as well either to that mountain section on the downhill bits. You can't do off the racing line on every corner because they're combination corners. So if you're side by side, you basically got to stick to one side of the road. Ooh, I braked a touch late then. That would have been a horrible bit of driving around that corner then. Especially if I had someone next to me. Interestingly as well, that last lap off the racing line, 5 seconds slower. Holy shit. So if you're side by side with anyone up here, it's not good. And you are literally going to be stuck to one side of the road. Oh, sliding. Well, what I'm going to do for the next lap or two is Basically, I'm just going to try driving on the racing line, but pretending that there's a car next to me. So giving room at the apex and such. So, having done that, I know that I can get around every corner, being off the racing line, and how to leave space for a car that may be next to me. And that's why it's so useful to practice that as well. Don't get me wrong, yeah, practice being on the racing line, doing the fastest, the best lines possible. But it's very useful to have that knowledge. So like for example, I know here on the outside it can get very understeery. Okay, so if I imagine I had a car on my left, it's horribly not grippy out there. And again, if I had a car on the left, I'll have to slow down so much. Okay, so enter on this side, pretend I got a car on the right, and yeah, it's so easy to do that. Okay, so I definitely need to practice that. So interestingly then, at the start of the downhill, got to be very careful on the brakes if you're not actually turning in on the racing line, if there's a car next to you. Right on the limit there. Now, simple rule of thumb that I go with when being off the racing line, or even like this where I'd be having to give room to a car on the left of me, is if the corner is normally a third gear corner, do it in a gear lower, because you're going to have to do it slower anyway, so it's more advantageous to be in the lower gear. Helps you control the speed, but also helps with the turning. Oh yeah, you do not want to be pushing it hard around the outside there. Okay, so I can get through there side by side with someone if the situation occurred, but obviously I'd rather not be in that situation, because if you are side by side over the top of that mountain, holy shit, you lose so much time. So what I'm going to do here is just see what this lap time is, and then I'm just going to try and drive on the normal lines and see if my tyre wear is too bad, or whether I can get those faster lap times again. Because obviously the last 3-4 laps have all been off the racing line, so they've been considerably slower. So 2:06.8, okay. So what I'm looking for, considering the amount of laps that I've done, 9 laps, I'd say I'm probably looking for about a 2:01.8. Clunk the wall. Didn't have the grip when I put the brakes on then. I reckon I'd have lost a lot of time in that sector. Yeah. Well, 3/10. Yeah, by braking at 175 there, I can get back on the throttle at the apex of the left-hander. Whereas when I was braking at 150, yeah, I was making the corner and all seemed fine, but I couldn't get on the throttle until the right-hander. Okay, let's see if I can do better up the mountain section this time. Now I've had a feel for the worn tyres. Let's see if the 202 is on the limit or whether I just was bad through there. Lost a little bit of time on the way into that corner. Grip's not quite there. Oh, I've done it again. I'm turning in a lot there because of the lack of grip, but I'm actually overcompensating. And then not compensating enough there. So I'm overcompensating, then undercompensating. Yeah, tyres are struggling big time now. I mean, I have done 20 minutes on them. So I wouldn't go any further in the race than this anyway, but let's see what we end up on. Well, okay, that's not too bad. I mean, I've struggled over the mountain section, but given that I've done 20 minutes on these tyres, that's actually not too bad at all. So from a practice perspective, I've pretty much picked up everything I personally need to know about this track. I know the racing line that I want to take, I know the rhythms I want to take, I know what I need to do when I'm off the racing line, and leaving room for people. I know what I need to do if I'm on the racing line but someone's on the inside of me, so I know what I need to do there. So I've got all those bases covered. The only thing I haven't got covered is a car being in front of me. So this is why it's very handy at times to be able to practice with other people. I mean, I could have invited somebody into this, but I'm only on for another 20 minutes. So I'd say it is vitally important to, yes, by all means do a bit of alone time practice, but it's practicing with other cars around you so that you can prepare and learn where you need to brake, when you need to brake, not going off the car ahead's brake lights because they come on, they're delayed, visually delayed. So it's always very, very useful coming on. Now, the interesting thing, or I find it interesting, is that the things that I have just sort of done at this track and learnt at this track, I should, in theory, be able to take any car from my garage to this track and get around it no problem, as long as the car can handle it. There'd be a few differing factors. For example, if it's a high-powered supercar, it's going to be unbelievably fast, but its brakes are going to be shit. So the braking points are going to be massively early. And if you haven't got the car slowed down, it ain't going to turn, it's just going to be in the barriers, and it's going to be awful. Also, the mounting section could be a little bit tricky on the throttle if it's anywhere sort of 700-800 brake horse or more. But then, if I was to jump in, say, F1 car or Super Formula or LMP1 car, the rhythm, the positions of the car would all be the same, but again, the braking points might change, but the actual physical positioning of the car and the rhythm that I try and do things in should be exactly the same. So I'm going to try and sort of do that. Now, obviously, I did kind of show a Lotus earlier. Now, I haven't I'm going to take the tyre wear off for this. I haven't driven that Lotus around here that I know of. So let's go and see what it's like. So I haven't driven this car around here. I have driven this car before. You know what? Let's just be fucking stupid, shall we? Okay, I might regret that. So 835 brake horse, weighing 1200 kilos, on super soft tyres, but no setup. Okay, I have no idea what this is going to handle like, but I know what I'm going to try and achieve already, because I've done it in the other car and I've done it in hundreds of cars. So I know what my aims are going to be. The question is learning. Holy shit! Learning how to steer when your car is pulling a wheelie. Right, yeah, so the processors should be exactly the same, but it's going to be a case of when to brake. Now I braked at about 200 metres then. Oh god, this is lively. This is moving all over the place. So my aim is to have the same car position and just work out what I need to do to have the car in that same position. Why did I pick this car? Holy shit! Right, okay. It don't like that corner then. I've got a feeling it ain't going to like down here either. Well, let's see, you know what? It doesn't feel too bad on the brakes. Fucking hell, this car's bonkers. Ooh. think I'll lift off there, seeing as it's almost topping out. Oh, oh, oh. It did not like going round that corner. Now I know I said I should be able to take just about any car around the track. I should. This may have been a bad example. But to be fair, I mean, I had no idea what the car was going to handle like. Yeah, the brakes are a bit shit, but at least it's not moving all over the place under the braking. Now, in the VW I was braking at what? 125, but that was about 200 if not earlier. Whee! Done half pop the front end up. Nearly. So I got the entry right that time. I was just too eager on the throttle. So, as I mentioned, my aim is to have my car in the same position on the track with the same turn-in points and the same exit points. The only differing factor is that I've got to brake earlier and I may have to be much more careful on the throttle. Okay, who's fucking took out the brake marker boards? Fucking vandals, I don't know. Must be the Aussies. They heard a Brit was driving around their track and thought, fuck that, we're not having that. See if we can get over the mountain without binning it this time. Halfway round that corner it just lifts the front end up. Lift off oversteer. Evil. Now one thing that I have learned you can do to try and reduce lift off oversteer is, if you're going to lift off, keep your throttle on a bit and apply a little bit of brake. This car's an absolute fucking animal. So like there, yes, I wanted to lift off around the kink, but I kept a bit of throttle on and applied the brake a little bit, just balances the car up. Brake too late, brake too late, brake too late. car's an absolute beast. I mean, any car that tries popping a wheelie out of the pit lane, yeah. That car's bonkers. Right. No, I don't want to do that. I want to go and pick a different car. So now I'm just... I mean, I'm not saying that people have to do this, but now I'm just trying a couple of other cars around this track just to see the differences. Go on then. Super Formula. Now, I've got the Super Formula detuned. Actually... Oh yeah, you can't take weight off, can you? Yeah, got it detuned because we like it detuned. It's very drivable. So even though in that Lamborghini then I was trying to do the same sort of things that I was doing in the VW, but braking much earlier and just taking my time around the corners. But car position wise, I was trying to put the car in exactly the same place and doing everything I physically could to try and make that happen. So in a much faster, well, in a car with a lot more grip, it'll be exactly the same process, but with a slightly later braking point, not having to be cautious through the corners. Hopefully. But as I mentioned, car position wise, the aim is exactly the same, and the rhythms. Don't need first there. Tell you what, the track is moving the car all over the place. When it is a bumpy circuit, it's moving me. So if I'd have started off in this car and then I went to the VW, my aim would be to position the car in exactly the same place, but then to just do whatever it takes to make sure I'm in that position on the track. So here in this, flat out through that kink, can't do that in the VW. You got to lift off before the corner, or maybe even dab a brake before the corner. So that's where that knowledge comes in of less grip, less downforce, got to do something slightly different, and that difference is slow down earlier. This car's fucking planted around here. Braking at 50 metres. Could do that corner in third, I reckon. That car's fucking brilliant. Right, I'm gonna go and jump in. Let's jump in something different. Okay, let's jump in. I'm tempted to say the F1 car, but I'm not going to go with the F1 car. I'm going to go with one of these big beasties. Which one do I go with? Nissan. Now, oh no, it is fully tuned up. Okay. Okay, so now I've got more than double the brake horse of the Super Formula, but again this car has got grip, so I'd look at this and go, okay, am I going to be able to go around the corners as fast as in the Super Formula? Probably not, although speed wise probably yes, easily, but in the style of driving, as in being on throttle, being flat, no, but it'll be interesting. My pit drivers making me look bad, crashing into the pit wall, popping wheelies and shit. Now this car is an absolute animal, and I don't think I've driven it around here yet. Definitely not at full fucking power. Big chunk of understeer. Okay, interesting. First gear's too short to use. No idea what it's going to be like here. Well, I know I can't go down to first. A bit too aggressive on the throttle then. Okay, that's 200 mile an hour. I do like this car. So I braked at the same point as I did in the VW. So even though I'm going much faster, this car has got more grip and aerodynamics to cope with braking at 125. It is a bit tricky with this amount of power though, because without touching the settle, whenever I apply the throttle, if I'm too aggressive with it, I'm getting understeer. So through there I wasn't full throttle in second. Because if I was, I'd get the understeer. Pushed it too hard. That was a lovely downhill bit then. Fucking lovely car, absolutely fucking lovely car to drive. But it'd be so easy to, for example, go from the VW Super Sport to that and struggle like fuck to get around this track. But in essence, I'm just trying to do exactly the same thing. It's just a case of, can it brake earlier or do you need to brake sooner? Sorry, can it brake later or do you need to brake earlier? Can it carry a speed through the corner? Oh, excuse me. So it's only sort of the characteristics of the car that you then need to pick up, not where you're putting the car on the track. What time is it? 25 minutes past. Okay. I'm going to go for one more car, I think, and then that'll be me done, so I can go and watch FP2. And let's see, which car shall we use? Something up in the 2,500 brake horse? No. Let's see. So, I do kind of want something a bit mental though, to be fair. So what, 4 cars? Fuck me, no thanks. The Veneno, don't fucking like that. The Camaro's not bad. I'm tempted with the F1 car. I'm not sure how it will cope with the mountain though. But I did drive the F1 car recently and thoroughly fucking enjoyed it. Okay, that's what I've ordered. I'm going to grab a Group 2. I've got a Group 2 that I really like, this one, but it is detuned, so let's tune it up. So not as powerful as the Le Mans, the LMP1, but this is still a mental fucking car. Looking at his gears won't be long enough. Holy shit! Now, when I've talked about using the same rhythm from one car to another, by that what I mean is points where if I need to lift off, it'll be the same points. Interesting to know that the gears are too short at this power. Didn't quite like braking at 100. I stayed on the brakes. You can't stay on the brakes through those S's. You can only brake when the car's straight. Although my brake bias might not be helping with that. That lap was only 3 seconds slower than the Group 1 car. I shouldn't have gone up the extra gear before I turned in. Ran a bit wider than I wanted to then. I'm going to keep it nailed this time, so apologies for the noise. Oh, my alarm. Okay, that car is so loud I didn't even hear my alarm going off for the last 4 minutes that was next to me. I do thoroughly enjoy the Group 2s though. But that's a phenomenal lap time for that compared to the Group 1. But yeah, hopefully though, for anyone that was watching this, you've been able to see that apart from the Lamborghini Diablo, every car that I was in, I was trying to position it in exactly the same place and do the same sorts of things at exactly the same points. So anyway, right, I need to disappear because F1 is on, so have a good one everybody, and I'll see you all later. Bye!